All right, family. Black Power. Black Power is the truth hour with General Sarah Soon said he kick back, get your mind ready for some information that's guaranteed to be heavy. It's going down today, family, 6:30. We talking about the Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas Sinister Connection live stream. You should be in the house. Most definitely. The link is right down in the video description. Go and click that link and get ready for a roller coaster ride, academic education in the African history, occult knowledge. Don't you dare miss it. It's going down at 6:30. Click that link. Begin to think. That's right, family. I'm excited and delighted to be accepting members to the Sarah Soon Seti YouTube page, dynamic page. If you are a member, you can expect to view the live stream for free. If you're on my Patreon, intermediate, scribe, and up, you also get the live stream for free. That's the perk of being a member. Click that link. You'll get a video description rundown on the memberships. You see one you like, you should most definitely join. Even if you don't, I appreciate your presence here at the Sarah Soon Seti YouTube page. Continue to engage, continue to advance. That's right, family. Ring the alarm, kingseti.com, online marketplace, official General Sarah Soon Seti DVD lectures, t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies for the kings, queens, and the children. We got 25% off selected items at this time. African and Kemetic jewelry, holistic tonics and remedies, home decor, accessories for every room in the house. kingseti.com, 25% off selected items at this time. Pour the fire alarm, generalseti.com, Seti University. We're talking about over 1,000 videos, 1,200 are nothing but pure heat. That's right, family. You see, not only that, we got the Grandmaster teachers in the respective fields and subjects with an overview from the general on the master teachers, giving you 360 degrees of supreme African academic knowledge that you cannot compare this to no site nowhere on the planet. That's right, family. And you already know Seti popping on Patreon, BPC making noise. We never come. Exclusive live streams, and it going down on Patreon today with the live stream. Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas Sinister Connection. You think they different? I beg to differ. You see what I'm saying? We're going to show you the proof how they're nothing but occult gates. One lead right into the other. So you want to be in the house so you can witness the strength. Make sure you subscribe to all my YouTube channels. King Seti, General Seti, Sarah Soon Seti. Rock that notification bell. Get a video a thumbs up. Like it because you love it. Share it with your family and friends. And comment. Just don't say nothing stupid. Because I will most definitely ban your ass. You'll be up out of here. Now we talking about, we lead off. Most Palestinian Muslims support Hamas. Dishonest to depict them as victims. See, I just brought that out there. And not at all am I pro-Israeli at all. I'm not pro neither one. I do videos on both sides and show you the wickedry of all these groups. You see what I'm saying? Of all these groups. You know, and we're going to talk about that in the last video when we talk about why black people shouldn't support either. But the fact is, when you understand Islam, you see, and it's no doubt that in Islam, they don't have no love for no Jews or no Christians. They don't have no love for nobody that's non-Muslim, point blank. You see what I'm saying? They talk very violently about anybody that's non-Muslim. You see that the sword, that they're going to bring the sword on all non-believers. This is what they teach. You see? And so, let this be understood that I don't condone, no kind of violence that's going on, but it is what it is. Okay? We can't be confused about that, that it is what it is, that it been going on over there for a long time. And the thing is, they don't talk about how the Arab cleared the land. You see, when it come their time, see, and people say, and they get out here and they rally. They rally for the Palestinians, say, oh, look what the Israelis is doing to the Palestinians. But nobody talk about how the Arab cleared out Northern Africa. You see what I'm saying? Cleared out Northern Africa. And in that respect, committed more violent acts on African people than the Israelis ever could commit on the Palestinians. There's only 2.5 million people in Palestine, so-called Palestine. I mean, you talking about the Arab wiped out tens of millions, some estimate hundreds of millions, up to 100 million. Africans were disposed of during the Arab imperialistic penetration into Africa. And then the slave trade that went on after that. You see, nobody talk about that. You see, when you open up the story of Islam, and they talk about Bilal, you see Bilal, the Ethiopian Mezouin, the first crier of Islam. When the story opened up, Bilal is already a slave. You see, Bilal is already a slave. So you see, when the story of Islam opened up, our peoples is in slavery already. And the crazy thing about it, when Muhammad and his so-called followers was fleeing from Arabia, fleeing from Mecca, because they were putting fire on his ass, fled right to Ethiopia. And people, and so many people venerate that, like, wow, how magnificent and benevolent that Ethiopia was to Muhammad. And then the goddamn Muslims turned right around and committed jihad on the continent of Africa. You see, that was the worst goddamn thing they could have did. They should have turned that damn Arab over to them goddamn Meccans. They should have gave his ass right on up. You understand what I'm saying? That's right. That's what I believe. You see? Because they, in essence, they didn't bastardize the whole of East Coast Africa. A lot of, and they have loyalty to Islam and the Arab. And so, yeah, you hear niggas and but you can see how they continue, and they don't want to be with the African. You see what I'm saying? They say they Hermetics. They say they with the Afro-Asiatic family. You see what I'm saying? And they, when you look the map up and shit, it show everything, on the Horn of Africa. You understand what I'm saying? In Northern Africa, but they separate. You know what I'm saying? From the sub-Saharan African. They don't even consider themselves. They are the Hermetic. See, they didn't fell in with that biblical garbage. You see, they didn't offer them niggas a seat at the table, or this illusion of the Bible stories. And so, yeah, so they Ethiopia. Even when you look at Sudan and what's going on right now, and if don't nobody else say it, I'll say it. You understand? Even when you look at, and I looked the documents up. I mean, they didn't put the information out there. Most governments know what's going on. They know that them Arab nations in Northern Africa is the ones that's backing both sides and have been backing both sides in the Sudanese war. The Arabs, the government of Egypt is backing the Sudanese government that's in power, and then you got the Libyan government that's backing this what they call the Janjaweed, the ones that's trying to overthrow the government in Sudan. So the Arab is backing both, and that's what they do across Africa. You see, that's what they do across Africa. You wonder how in the hell Gaddafi got so damn rich. You see what I'm saying? Because they've been funding the pillaging. He no different than goddamn Emmanuel Macron. He no different than until black people wake up, goddamn it, and get out of that glorification of Islam and get in along with the European. See, I don't hear when I hear a motherfucker talking about deposing the European. Yes, but depose that goddamn Arab too. They got to go together. See, they got to go together. A lot of people don't even know about what they call condominiums. Now, condominiums is when two nations rule one nation at the same time. So, you know, the Arabs was in partnership with the Europeans in the colonialism and imperialism of African people and African nations. We can't forget that. We can't forget that. You see? And so today you had niggas out there, you know, they crying. I ain't crying for neither one of them motherfuckers. Not one of them. Because they both fighting over the stolen land. It don't belong to neither one of them. It don't belong to neither one of them. That's why I did the video showing and proving that the white Israelis, they know the land belong to our people. I go right in the Talmud where they highlight the curse of Canaan. And they say that's the Negro, that Canaan, who is the original inhabitants of the land. According to the Bible, the Canaanites, the Africans, was the original inhabitants of the land. And nobody talks about, but they want to talk about what the Israelis is doing in Palestine. And it very well may be, quote unquote, genocide. You see, it very well may be, quote unquote, ethnic cleansing. But what about the goddamn genocide of African people? What about the goddamn ethnic cleansing of African people from those lands that nobody wants to talk about? Say, oh, that was way back then. Bitch, it's our land. Ain't no goddamn way. It's our land right now. You understand what I'm saying? It's our goddamn land right now. And so nobody want to talk about that. You understand what I'm saying? All these goddamn nations, when it comes down, not only do they owe us land, they owe us reparations. If the European owe us reparations, then the goddamn Arab owe us reparations. And not only do he owe us reparations, he got to come up off the land. But see, you can't ask these psychomaniac motherfuckers for nothing. You understand? Jihad, that's all they know. Jihad. You see? Islam or die. That's what they came across Northern Africa. That was the cry. Islam or die. You see what I'm saying? And so a lot of people say, you know, and they be asking these silly ass questions. They say, well, if the Africans was the original people of North Africa, where are they now? Okay, I tell you what, if them goddamn Israelis keep bombing Gaza, you understand? You think they're going to stay in that motherfucker? They going to get the fuck up out of there if they got any type of sense. You understand? Who the fuck going to stay in an area that they decimating? You see what I'm saying? So they didn't told their ass to get the hell on up out of there. That's what they told them. Get the hell on up out of here. And they didn't left a few corridors for them to go through. You understand what I'm saying? And they asses is leaving. You understand? Their asses is leaving. So, you know, that's the most silly goddamn question I ever. Where are they? As if the black people, the African supposed to stay in the land with a maniac people coming through with, you know, they're shedding blood, you understand, just like they breathe air. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, and so it is, you know, when we talk about, and you know, when you talk about Islam, you know what I'm saying? We got to be clear about that. Is Muhammad sent letters out, so they say. You know, when he, you know, he sent letters out to the 4 or 5 great nations of the world. You see what I'm saying? He said it's time to accept Islam. Because if you don't, I'm gonna be knocking on your goddamn door real soon. Now you either, you know, we'll be knocking on your door real soon. And so that's been the cry of Islam even up until this day. And we have to understand that, you know, these is the continuations of the Crusades. If you wasn't in the first one, why you in the motherfucker now? This shit didn't just start. Y'all act like this shit just started. This shit been going back and forth for a long motherfucking time. It was time when the Christians held it. They committed genocide on the African people. You see, when Alexander the Barbarian came into, he committed genocide. You see, when the Romans under Octavius and the rest of them came into Africa, they committed genocide on the people. You see, and they took that land from what they call today Palestine. When Alexander came into Egypt, that's when they usurped that. That was always considered an extension of Africa. That was always considered an extension of Egypt. It's no way that Egypt would have rose to the great empire that it became without controlling the doorway into its nation. You see what I'm saying? And so they always control the land that you call today Israel and Canaan and Palestine. That belonged to the Ethiopian race. That belonged to Egypt and Ethiopia. And when you see, when Egypt went into today what you call Israel, I've never seen where it was ever a real nation. Israel only exists in the Bible. They didn't create no damn Israel until 1945. That's when they created Israel and created all these little fake nations that they took up out of the Bible, Lebanon and they was, like I said, they was gonna call Iraq Mesopotamia, and you know, and you got Lebanon, and you got what's the other? And they went in there and created all those names after World War I. Under the Ottoman Turks, none of them named no Lebanons, no Mesopotamias, no Israels, no. It was called Syria, where I saw on the map. You see what I'm saying? I seen where it was called Syria, and I had to do my research on that. Those they were, you know, it wasn't no nations. There was scattered goddamn tribes over there. They were not under no damn. Saudi Arabia is a modern nation. Yeah, you know, if they called it Arabia, it wasn't called Arabia as a nation. It was an area where Arabs roamed. They had no nationalism. They was nothing but rogue tribes. You see what I'm saying? That wandered back and forth through that land. You see what I'm saying? And so they didn't have no damn nationalism under no sense of the word did they have nationalism. But they created this Disneyland over there and called it the Middle East. You middle of what? Where are you starting point? Where is your starting point to call it the middle? You see? And so, you know, to African people, you know, in Africa, it was north. You see? It was north. Wasn't, you know, middle, it was the north. You know, ain't no middle because ain't too much, you know, above that. You see? But some mountains and some damn, you know, some cold, frigid lands. African people, even though they had colonies that went north, they didn't, you know, necessarily need none of that, need that shit or even counted it. You see? They didn't necessarily need it, even though they had colonies up there where they was retrieving certain metals and certain resources that were, you know, prominent on the Baltic. You see, you know, like I believe it was silver and some type of, you know, other type of metals that they were getting up out of that Baltic area. But, you know, middle what? That's a British term. You see, and the Arabs took, under when they had, and all you had to do is look up British mandates. If you look up British mandates, they had a Mesopotamian mandate where they was gonna call Iraq, man. In that they didn't have no nationalism. There wasn't no damn Iraq over there. Wasn't no damn, none of that. That was just some districts that, it wasn't under no nationalistic name. And so when Britain came over there, they wanted to, cut, because I believe the French was, they inherited Lebanon and I believe Syria, where Britain, it was carved up. It was carved up between the British and the French. And so I believe the French got Lebanon and Syria, where, the British got Arabia and today what is Iraq because of that oil over there. And it was under the British that Saudi Arabia became a nation. Well, no goddamn Saudi Arabia, they lying like a motherfucker. Nowhere, because the Ottoman Turks was on their goddamn head. You see, they took, like I said, they were scattered tribes. And the Ottoman Turks went down there and seized it. You understand what I'm saying? It was in control of it primarily for over 400 years. No damn Arabs down there in control or nothing. That's why all this, if you believe anything of what coming out of the mouth of most historians today, you are a fool, because they done made this shit up like Marvel Comics. They just got a goddamn printing press not too goddamn long ago. And if they did have one in the 1400s, it took them damn near 200 years to educate a population that would even be able to read a goddamn book. When Gutenberg created the printing press, 99.9% of the damn European population was a damn illiterate. You understand? So they had to go through a vigorous education of the continent of Europe, which took them over goddamn 200 years. And a lot of them ain't even educated to this damn day. All that shit is an illusion. It's all in an illusion. So, we looking and we saying, that, if the Palestinians, and because this is what it boiled down to. If you about that life, if you gonna support Hamas, and the motherfuckers, they about to, and because the thing is, and like I said, I don't support, but I'm, for all you, you Negroes that want to give fake support, every time I see them motherfuckers, they do something. And I seen them when they came back from doing, when they attacked Israel and they drove down the street, man, it was motherfuckers coming from everywhere. They was coming from every goddamn where with their phones and shit. You know what I'm saying? So whether it's 100% support for Hamas or not, you understand what I'm saying? It's a large population there, a very large population that support. You see, and the Muslims ain't, they bout that jihad. That's a goddamn lie. They bout that jihad. They are. And we know this to be true. So I mean, you got some of them over there, like Saudi Arabia, Oman, United Arab Emirates, all that shit the British created. They created all that. They just like Saudi Arabia. Their asses didn't exist. Oman, the United Arab Emirates, all that shit over there. Dubai and Bahrain and all that, man, goddamn it, them damn Europeans created all that shit over there. You understand what that was? A damn a wasteland. Wasn't no damn nations over there. Because we got to understand that the Ottomans was in control of a lot of that. So they did not allow it, and there wasn't no nations there, no way. You see what I'm saying? So we got to quit believing that them damn nations was created during the time of the British control over there, and that was for that oil. You see what I'm saying? That was for now. You got the ones that linked up with the British, and today the United States. So they sitting fat. That's why Iran and Saudi Arabia beef so goddamn much. You see, because they look at Saudi Arabia and the rest of them damn nations, that they look at them as an extension of the West. They don't look at them as legitimate. You see what I'm saying? They don't look at them as legitimate. Whereas, even Iran today, the British had put a puppet over there, but they overthrew his ass. They call him the Shah. The Shah, what his name? Yeah, I think his name was the Shah of he was a king. He established himself as a king, but he was a puppet, I believe. I believe his name was the Shah. And I believe that was the name of his family. But then they overthrew his ass. And that was the end of the puppet in Iran. You see, and so Iran look at itself as a legitimate Islamic nation, where they look at Saudi Arabia and the rest of them as some nations that the West created, that they don't have legitimacy. You see what I'm saying? They didn't come by way of the people. Them nations did not come by. Now, to my understanding, Saudi Arabia, with King Saud, who Saudi Arabia is named after, the people supported him, but at the same time, the West established all them motherfuckers over there. They established Saudi Arabia. Okay? And so, they can say what they want to say. And so that's the reason why. So you have to understand, you have to do a serious study how all them nations came to be over there. And when you do, you will come to realize that all they did was create a mythical region of the world and named it shit that come about the Bible to give you the illusion that that was always there. They don't have no precedence where any of them goddamn nations ever existed at any time in world history outside of the Bible. You see what I'm saying? So if they use the Quran, they use the Bible as legitimacy, they don't have no legitimacy. You see, they don't have no legitimacy. And lastly, what I want to say is this: if people's is so in an uproar about what is the Israelis is doing in Palestine, what about what the Bible says, where it commands the Israelites to commit total genocide on the Canaanites? Total genocide, where God say, don't even leave one. Don't you leave one breathing. Wipe them all out. You see, what about that? Nobody talks about that. But then y'all put that shit up and say, oh, it's the good book. You see, this is the word of God. Well, goddamn it, if Netanyahu and Adolf Hitler and shit, if those are demonic despot rulers, what the hell is God, who would command people to destroy a whole nation? You see, man, woman, and child, even the beasts, pull the goddamn trees up out the ground. You see, if it belonged to that man, pull his goddamn trees up and set fire to them. You see? So we got to really shine a light on this hypocrisy that's going on today. And so my thing is, I have no doubt that from an Islamic perspective, that most his Palestinian Muslims, and I believe that most of them are Muslims, and if they go by the Quran and they go by Islam, they are about that life when it comes to jihad. And like I said, when I see them come in, you see a vast number of people that come out when after they did, committed whatever acts of terror that they committed. And you can say whatever you want. You understand what I'm saying? Call it whatever you want. It's up to you. I'm just, and they come back into Gaza. You see a lot of people rush out and supporting, and they celebrating. They got their phones out and shit. But then when the goddamn bombs come, then people say they ain't got nothing to do with it. If it's war, it's motherfucking war. Don't come crying if you ain't ready. If you go, and most people, they probably knew something like that was going down. They know what, keep your mouth closed. They commit that shit. Nah, when if you gonna hit a motherfucker in the mouth, you understand what I'm saying? Be prepared, motherfucker, to fight. Don't motherfucking get to crying if you hit a motherfucker in the mouth and then he want to turn around and stomp your ass out. You should have knew what the fuck them people was gonna do when you did that. You see what I'm saying? And who's to say how far they should go? You understand what I'm saying? Because like I said, they was over there, they was sleeping. Because if they had come with a 1-2 punch, they might would have seized some land from their ass. You see what I'm saying? They could have did far more damage than what they did. They probably didn't even realize they was going to be that goddamn successful. So they figuring, shit, we can't allow them to fucking, gather they forces again and come and hit us again, because the next time we might not be able, to withstand some shit like that. So, they're going to try to hit hard as a motherfucker. And yes, there is over there, wiping, a lot of that shit out. But like I said, if you going to hit a motherfucker in the mouth like that, and they've been going back and forth for all this time and shit, you should be, I don't even know what the fuck was y'all expecting from that. You see, what the fuck was they thinking? I mean, what they thought they was going to come and bring them cupcakes and shit and this, that, and the third. You knew they was going to retaliate with ferocity. You see what I'm saying? Most nations would probably retaliate. And I'm not saying, I'm not weighing on one side or the other. I'm just looking at it as a fight. You understand what I'm saying? Good and goddamn well, if you're going to kill them people like that, good and goddamn well, you in for a fight, motherfucker. Okay? You in for a fight. It ain't going to be it's going to be, no, it's not going to be that way. So I see the world is being fickle, because I tell you what, I believe if somebody had done that shit to the United States or even Russia or even China, one of them bigger nations, man, listen, the devastation that would come from that, you see what I'm saying? The devastation that would come from that would be far greater than what Israel is doing today. Straight the fuck up. It would be far greater than that. You see? So don't think you would be able to do that and slaughter, man. The outcry in the United States would probably be so fucking loud that they wouldn't have no choice but to decimate whoever would be responsible for an act like that. Russia too. Russia ain't playing no game. Do some of their people like that. Go into Russia, sneak into Russia, and leave about 1,500 where you cut them up and shit, and see what Vladimir Putin do to your ass. You see what he do. See if they gonna be easy on your ass. China, sneak into China and do in front of the outcry would be so astronomical. Ain't no telling the destruction that they would probably bring on a nation that would do that. You see? So, we got to quit, trying to bring our own personal emotions into a fucking war that's been going on for all this time. And then when it come time for our own people, motherfucker, you don't get out there and march and goddamn and speak the truth to all of the genocide that these same people have committed on our people. We're not done, family. We just getting started. We warming up. the Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas Sinister Connection live stream is going down 6:30 this evening. You should be in a house. The link is right down in the video description. Click that link and begin to think. That's right, family. No room for emotion. We'll be right back. Don't you go nowhere. This is General Sarah Susan said. He's saying, hey, arm yourself with knowledge. Bang on that wicked ass beast daily. Liberation through African education and confrontation. Black power.